Wonderful. A lot of energy for so early in the morning, right? Fabulous. And we're just always in awe that you can do that. So good morning, and once again, welcome to Interfaith Spiritual Center Worldwide, where we acknowledge that nothing happens by chance, that we are all here by divine appointment, and we acknowledge our viewing audience that tuned in at this moment with us, because it's Interfaith Spiritual Center Worldwide that makes all of that possible. And as we come together this morning, we're looking at the power of choice. Aristotle said, choice, not chance, determines our destiny. Choice, not chance, determines our destiny. There is a cause and effect relationship in the universe that when we begin to align our thinking in a way that allows us to know that thoughts are things and words are molds. The trained thought is far more powerful than untrained thought. And what that means is that we are directing the energy. And as we direct the energy, where thought goes, energy flows and comes back in full-blown expression of that which we have set forth. The Bible states that our word returns not void, but returns in full-blown expression of that which we have set forth. So when we are looking at the power of choice this morning, we are looking at an opportunity. Every single day of our lives, choose ye this day whom you will serve. God, life, truth, freedom, or something less than that. When we make a lower choice, and it's about higher and lower choices, and it's not good and it's not bad, because people said, oh, I made some really bad choices in my life. Oh, I really went down that road. That was the worst choice I ever made. There are no bad choices. There are only the experiences that we need to grow, to unfold, and to expand into all that we are. And when we get that, we'll stop lamenting about the past and begin to acknowledge power is always in the present moment. The power is always in the present moment. So when we're lamenting about the past and we're afraid of the future, we're not living in this powerful, amazing moment of our lives. And it's really fascinating because my sister, we were raised in an alcoholic home, and she became an alcoholic and a drug addict. And those were her choices. And as we grew older, I would go to court because she would be arrested. So I would go to court and I would explain to the judge that she was a product of her environment and that she really was a wonderful person, which she was. She was she could have been a stand-up comedian. She was hysterical. And she was amazing. And she was a genius. And she didn't know it. She had such a low self-image because of the way we were raised. So for me, I was defiant. So I overachieved just to prove Dad wrong. And she proved Dad right. So when I would explain this in court, the judge, and I went many times to court, the judge would always ask, didn't matter what judge it was, why aren't you that way? That was always the question. Then why aren't you that way? And I said, because I knew that I could make other choices. And that always let her off into my custody. And she would do really well for a while, but the self-image that felt less than, no self-esteem, unworthy, just would always sink back into the comfort zone. And yes, it was a choice. And I believe the moment of enlightenment is the moment that we know that we have the power of choice. Life is about evolution. It's about unfoldment. And so those that move off the planet by their own hand, as my sister did, being in the world was too much for them, and we don't judge in our way of life. We know that we pick up where we leave off. So we do not judge the process of any human being or what they need to do. We just send love and compassion. And those that have unkind things to say about us, you know, I'm in public life. I've been in public life for over 40 years. I've heard it all. I've gotten our ads back with horns painted on me and she-devil and all these kind of things, right? Which, you know, I always laughed at, right? The thing we're looking for, we're looking with. I made a choice to laugh. So we can make a choice to be offended, and some people make a profession of being offended. They're offended about everything. They're offended about the weather and someone's tone of voice and how it was. It's like getting into the elevator and having someone say, hello, and thinking, wonder what they meant by that. Oh, my God. You know, so they major in minors. And that's not about our way of life. Our way of life is seeing through the appearance, the condition, and the effect. And if someone isn't at themselves, to send love and compassion. That takes a really big person as well. It's easier said than done. We feel the sting of it for the moment and then realize this has nothing to do with me. I cannot take it personally. And when we do take it personally, we have something to learn. There's an energy charge to move past it. I love, the little girl was sitting on Grandpa's lap and she was, caressing his face and telling him how much she loved him. And she said, is it true we're all created in the image and likeness of God, Grandpa? And he said, yes, it is, honey. And then she looked in the mirror and she looked at Grandpa and she said, well, he seems to be doing a better job these days. It's about evolution. It's about unfoldment. It's about expansion. It's about opening to life. And to make those choices that when we are not feeling at ourselves, that we can say with the Course in Miracles, I can choose peace instead of this. I can choose life instead of this. I can choose love instead of this. Whatever it is at that moment. And when we open the space to allow God to do what God does best, it's amazing how the energy just flows in. I have been all over the world this past year, speaking at the University of Istanbul, the University of Croatia, the University of London, the University of Germany, the University at St. Michael's in Miami, stateside. And what I know is that people are wonderful, that wherever I go in the world, I make an affirmation. And that affirmation is the mystical, the magical, and the miraculous go before me and prepare the way with ease and grace. And then I just let it unfold, and I have angels helping me, and they're there. And I love the way that it works. Dr. Ernest Holmes, the founder of Science of Mind, said, the thing you're looking for, you're looking with. So when we get it, that thing that we're looking for, we're looking with, is our God self. We're all co-creators with a higher power. In Deuteronomy, it says that I set before you life and death, a blessing and a curse. Choose life. Choose life. And as we choose life and embrace it, it's going to be painful, it's going to be joyful, it's going to be amazing, it's going to be suffering, it's going to be weeping, it's going to be laughing, it's going to be everything. That we have lives that are lived in, that open our hearts. And someone says, and we hear people say, oh, that just broke my heart. And I said, well, it broke your heart so it could open to the love, compassion, and energy that's there for you. And when we recognize that, then we won't hang on to those bitter experiences. We either become embittered or empowered. The choice is ours. What are we going to do with our experiences? What are we going to do when we hear all this stuff on the media? And I do not listen to the news. I go online and I kind of get the lay of the land of what's going on in the world. I listen to world news. And there's always wars and rumors of wars, and there's hunger, and there's famine, and there's AIDS, and there's, all of that. But there's Doctors Without Borders. There are attorneys without borders. There are presenters that go into foreign lands to help energetically whatever is going on there. Father Ida, who is in Africa, and I've shared with you that I nominated him for the Nobel Peace Prize and he was accepted. And R.J. Taylor has gone with me as my media journalist. And we're going to be going to Africa in November. And I said, when you see the feeding of 500 people a day and you help distribute that food, and each person is so grateful and there's kind of joy in their eyes. And there is an energy. And they become empowered. And he created 5 factories, a paint factory, a bakery factory, just go paper factory, palm wine factory. We could take a note from that book, couldn't we, here in Palm Springs? And the unemployed are now gainfully employed. So he's doing in this little obscure village called Alili, which we heard from my Facebook friend, Lal Soydan, who hosted us when we were in Istanbul. She said Alili in Turkish means to clasp your hand. And it was so moving because as we clasp one another's hand, that moves beyond color, race, creed, and sexual orientation, because to clasp each other's hand is to unite in love, is to feel the oneness and the energy, and to know, am I my brother's keeper? Am I my sister's keeper? I am my brother. I am my sister. And that what affects one affects all. So your good makes mine possible. My good makes yours possible. And the word in the Igbo tribal language is Made, the good that is. The good that is, that lives and moves and has its being at the center of our one life. Jesus, who became the Christ, said, be as little children, or you will not enter into the kingdom of heaven. What that means is have that trust. Be discerning. He said, be as wise as a fox and as harmless as a dove. Right? Or as wise as a serpent and as harmless as a dove. And so we're to be that means that be discerning, not distrusting, wondering at every turn in the road, what's their motive? No, we open to life. We have a body-mind that absolutely tells us energetically what's going on in the energy field. So we use discernment in our life, and we become as the little child. There was a couple who had a daughter who had a genetic disease. It was a blood disease. And no one in the family had her blood type except her big brother. And she was 3 and he was 5. And so the doctor brought the little boy in and said, brother, little sister has this experience and she's going to need your blood. So we're going to put a needle in your arm and we're going to take your blood and we're going to then give it to little sister. And his eyes got really big and he thought for a moment, and the doctor said, well, how do you feel about it? And he shook his little head. And he said, all right, I'll give sister my blood. And so he lay down, and they put the needle in, and they began taking his blood. And he looked up at the doctor, and he said, will I be dying very soon? He thought he was giving his life for his little sister. And unless we become as a little child, we shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. And the doctor explained, no, you're just going to give a little bit of your blood so that sister can live and you can live. And you can all be such a happy family. And so, am I my brother's keeper? Am I my sister's keeper? I am my brother. I am my sister, and I make a choice for that. I make a choice for life. Even though the greatest gift we can give is to lay down our life for our friends. And what that means is to give over judgment, to give over criticism, to give over what keeps us separated one from the other. Not that we're going to vibrate with everyone on the planet. We don't. But we acknowledge the God particle, as the quantum physicists say, the God particle within each living being, even those that judge us and criticize us. And we keep drawing the larger circle. He drew a circle that shut me out. Love and I had the wit to win. We drew a circle that took him in. When we make the choice for love, when we make a choice for peace, when we make the choice that I'm going to keep my consciousness at such a place that when anything unlike that comes up, it immediately gets my attention. And I can release it and go within. And the only way that I am aware that we can achieve that is through meditation, by going within to the secret place of the Most High, to pray to our Father, Mother, God in secret, whatever we consider or name we put on our Father, Mother, God, it doesn't matter. But to realize that which is within us is precious, far more precious than any outer thing, that it all flows from within, so without. When Booker T. Washington, who actually discovered the peanut, thank you, Booker. You know, I'm a vegetarian and I love peanut butter. But he was an amazing botanist. And someone came to him and said, how do you do it? Look at everything you're creating. His greenhouse was amazing. And he said, I simply love them. I simply love them. Everything responds to love when we make the choice to love. And so his friend and he were walking down the street, and a white man elbowed him off the sidewalk because he was black. He fell down, but he got up, he brushed himself off, and he began walking with his friend down the sidewalk and didn't say a word. And his friend said, how can you let this happen? How can you stand that? And he said, I defy any man to make me hate. Powerful. Powerful. I defy any man to make me hate. That when we love and make the choice for love, and I'm talking about universal love, I'm talking about the love that passes all human understanding, the love that heals, the love that where a doctor absolutely, says, I've done all I can, and certainly Dr. Roger Bambanek, our director of chaplaincy at Desert Regional Hospital, has seen them just, kind of, I've done all I can, it's up to God. Then God is there, and the miracle of love occurs because we've offered it up. So today, as we make the choice for life, and the choice for love, and the choice for peace, and as we're talking about universal love and universal peace, to send it out, because we think, well, what can one person do? One person can sit in the knowingness of sending out that energy. The Dalai Lama, amazing man, and I have met him in Costa Rica where I was speaking at the United Nations University for Peace, and it was in the 80s, and he was not the great superstar that he is today. And he sat there and talked about peace, but I never heard him say one word against the Chinese, ever. He talked about peace, freedom, and spiritual liberation. We have a choice today to speak of peace, to speak of our own spiritual liberation and our own opportunity to move to the next level through our power of choice. Behold, I set before thee a blessing and a curse, life and death. Choose life. I can choose peace instead of this. I can choose love instead of this. I can choose life instead of this. God bless you. I salute you. And what I know is, where are we going? Higher yet. Where? Higher yet. Where? Higher yet. And so it is. God bless you.